Good evening, dear devotees and friends. Today is Wednesday, and here in America, the Hindu people are celebrating the Janmashtami. It's a great day. The Supreme Lord, He advented in the form of Sri Krishna, and He protected the people of the Vrindavan. And then He guided the whole Bharatvarsha and guided towards the righteousness, towards the Dharma. He was a great personality, not only in the spiritual world, but also in politics, in social, in friendly, in all aspects we find that Bhagavan Sri Krishna is so perfect. So our offering to the Bhagavan Sri Krishna, and the same Krishna and the same personality which took the form of Sri Krishna came as Sri Ramakrishna. And in the modern times, Sri Ramakrishna was born in 1836. It was not necessary the way the Krishna did, the same God. He is taking the human form and He is guiding the human towards Himself. Go back to God, as they say. He has created the human being, gave them the thoughts, and then directing them Himself in the form of a human being as Sri Ramachandra, as Sri Krishna, and in the modern time we find Sri Ramakrishna, the guiding towards God. But the Sri Ramakrishna time, it was not necessary to take the people towards the war field. It was the time when Sri Ramakrishna, the God, He transformed the minds of people. The transformation. So that is why the Hindus, they don't convert people. Conversion, to some extent, imposing my idea, our idea on some other people, whether they like it or not, love it or not, accept it or not, forcefully. So when we are converting means it's a forceful transition of my thought to another person. But it is transformation. It is not conversion. The Hindus, they believe in transformation. And the transformation, that is exactly what Sri Ramakrishna did. The people who are engaged in the worldly life and thinking that the world is permanent, and very sincerely, seriously, they are trying to find out the peace, the happiness, the joy from those worldly things. And then the God comes and says, I have created that worldly things. It can never give you peace, never give you joy, never give you happiness, because that is all temporary. And the Mayavadins, those who are propagating the theory of Maya, they will say it is all illusory. So that is the beauty of the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, and all, we should not say all, because Master Masha came for only a few years. But whatever, he recorded those things, and exactly the exact words of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna he presented to us. And every Wednesday we read that Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, which is nothing less than the Veda. So we can call it as a Panchama Veda, the fifth Veda. Now let us start as usual by chanting from the Gopi Gita. Tabo kathamritam tapta jivanam kabhi Srimadatam bhuvi grinanti e bhurida janaha. This is the word, only the words, and by that he is changing the minds of the people. But is it that all people were transformed? No. But that depends on the person's karma phala also. And that is the reason, even if the God is coming before us, God is taking the position of a guru and guiding us to our spiritual path, those who are not capable, they won't be able to do any benefit out of that. Because the samskara, the karma phala. But that apart, let us again read Sri Ramakrishna. He was visiting the Brahma Samaj. It is in the Sithi. We are reading that particular chapter. And here that gentleman, he was asking, and when Sri Ramakrishna said, they have faith, he said, no, how can that be? Because we are sinners. The last, our discussion, last discourse, we discussed on this particular, the sub-judge, sir, I am a sinner, how can I say that God dwells in me? He said that. The Sri Ramakrishna almost rebuked. He said, how is it? How can you think like that? You are an educated person, how can you think like that? He is not going once again to that level, so, oh, this is how the creation came. But any person, sensible person, they know this creation, it is God made. And God created out of himself, because there is no other matter. There cannot be existence of the two. Only the God was there. So at that time in the Veda Upanishad it says, so naturally God has created out of his own, and we are also God. No question, no doubt should be there. But why the separation? Because the God has given us some ego. We wrongly taken those egos. And that's why I am thinking that I am separated. But in reality, it is not. Only I am thinking. Sometimes there's some people with the mental problem, mental diseases, they think that they are somebody. And that is the problem. Then we say we send them to the mental asylums, we treat them in a different way. So why? That person is thinking that he is a doctor, or he is the prime minister of a country, or he is somebody. All others all around, they can't see, they know, they see. This is an ordinary person, my neighbor, my friend, we grew up together. But go to that particular person, he says, no, no, no. I am so and so. Why? We call it mental disease. What is the blockage? I am thinking. That is the problem. So the doctors slowly treat them in a different way and try to say that you are not that. The same, almost the same way. All of us, the whole humanity, we are thinking that we are human being, and then we are thinking one after another that we are Indian, we are American, we are this, we are that we are Hindu, we are Christian, we are Buddhist, we are Muslim, that we speak this family, that family, one after another. We are going on superimposing on the original thing. So it has gone so deep. Now we have to go on digging to find out our original thing. Who is me? Who am I then? So who is that original thing? That is, Sri Ramakrishna is telling, it is God. You are God. But that educated person, like the sub-judge, he said, no, 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 that, how can that be? We are sinners. Sri Ramakrishna is almost rebuking, and then he said, one must have faith that when one say, I have uttered the name of God, I have repeated the name of Rama or Hari, how can I be a sinner? Very simple. I have uttered the name of God, that much. Uttered means that I have the faith. The I am that God, that faith, when I say, immediately all other things should go out. So that is the way the treatment is going on. We are truly God. But like a lunatic, we are thinking that we are weak human being. And I am a male, and it's a female, and the child, and the poor, and educated, uneducated. So many different epithets, so many different visheshana, so many different qualities we are putting on that. So many. So that is why Sri Ramakrishna is telling, to break that, the first step is the faith. Now this is a very, very difficult thing to understand. Why should I believe? Sri Ramakrishna's question, that you should believe, and how can, sir, how can one have such faith? Faith that I am God. And then person is telling, how can one have such faith? Then why Sri Ramakrishna used to go to those assemblies of the Brahmas? Because they were educated people. The then educated society of Calcutta, majority, they became the members of the Brahma Samaj. Of course, many of them, there were also the traditional Hindus, but Sri Ramakrishna used to go to them, the Brahmas, mainly. Why? They were little advanced people. They were little modern people. And they were having some idea of religion. They were trying to be religious. So Sri Ramakrishna used to go to them because it is a philosophy. And the philosophy means the one who is having the basic concept can understand what Sri Ramakrishna is telling. You are God. If we go to and tell the person who is not having the basic idea, then it will be tremendous. It will be backfire, as they say. He'll say, I am God? Oh, good, then I can do anything and everything. No one is there to question me. That will be another problem. So that is why you have to go and tell to those people who have at least some basic education to understand that. So they are trying to understand Sri Ramakrishna. They are asking question. And this time he is telling, sir, how can one have such faith? Sri Ramakrishna says, have faith that you are God. You are uttering the name of God and you are pure. How can we have that? Sri Ramakrishna now is telling, O Lord, is it ever possible to know Thee without love? You sing this song. Sri Ramakrishna is telling that person, however much one may perform worship and sacrifice. One may perform worship and sacrifice if I don't have the love. And how the love will come? By knowing. How I will know? Understanding. So this is one step, goes always, constantly. Then we reach to that love. When I can love God, the concept of God means He is all-pervading, and I am loving an ideology, a concept, and then I am trying to give a personality into that. Like the Janmashtami, so that Janmashtami, the Sri Krishna, is the Bala Gopala, not the Krishna of the Kurukshetra, who is directing the whole war. No. It is the baby Krishna, and all are trying to feed and to give all their love on that baby Krishna. The Lord, the Supreme Lord, is coming into that form, and we like the people, majority of the people, they like that pure form of the God as a child. So the love comes. Why? I'm thinking the God is a child. And my love for the child, love for the baby is going towards God. So that conception slowly taking a human form, and I am liking to concentrate on that, and ultimately what I am learning, that God alone exists. So that is the faith. Now friends, when the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling the Vishwasa, the faith, what is that faith actually? Assumption. I heard from my father that my grandfather was so and so and he used to live over there. I heard from my father. Now I am believing the words of my father. Then I go to that particular place to meet the grandfather. See, I first learned from the father that his father living in a distant village. I heard, I accepted, I assumed, oh, it must be so. So this is called the faith on the words of the father. Basing on that, I am going to that particular place, then meeting that particular gentleman and accepting him as my grandfather, paying my respect and love, everything going on the assumption. Is it not faith? It is also faith. When I grew up on the lap of a lady, I accept her as my mother. It's a faith. The whole life, human whole life is nothing but faith. And the person, he's flying on the sky and going to another far away land, having the faith that the control that the instructions that I am receiving from the control tower will guide me properly, because you can't see anything. On the high altitude, all these clouds are below, you cannot see, can't see the earth also. You are almost nowhere. But at the same time, you are having the complete faith, the people sitting over there will be properly guiding me, and I fly that aircraft. And look at the captains of the ships. In the modern days, so many modern equipments are there. But in the olden days, the wooden ships, and they used to sail in the uncharted sea, they are going, just having some rough sketches. If we go into this way, and there will be a star, and the night time and the daytime, all these assumption, and they were sailing. Isn't it? Faith. So we will reach somewhere. So if we can have that faith to realize God, our own self, our own identity, the source of all our joy and peace and happiness, you say, what try? Why not? So that is what Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling. And the gentleman told, we are sinners. Now what is the sin? Swami Vivekananda said, any thought, any word, any action which causes suffering to other is sin. Para pidana papa. Para pidana. Para means the others. Pidana, creating problem, the suffering. That is. I said something which hurt the mind of others. Sometimes in the school, some children will be there bullying on others in the schools and colleges. In the offices also, some people, the moment they will go, they are meeting over there, working together, but trying to belittle others. Why? You have also applied, you have also learned, you have gone over there, and you are working over there. Isn't that sufficient? No, he is not sufficient. Then he will go on bullying on others, trying to bossing on others. Then one day he will leave that particular office and go somewhere else. But as long as he was there, he was creating problem for others. That is called sin. The sin, the papa means this. The words that we use, if that hurts the person, the way that we behave, if that hurt the others, that is papa. So when we say that we are sinners, in what sense? So obviously we can rectify ourselves. These are all the mistakes. Then when these are the mistakes, so obviously we can rectify. The Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling that this you must have. Pray to God in secret and yearning, and that you may have the passionate attachment and devotion to Him. To develop the love for God, we have to pray to God. To shed tears for Him, then only it is possible. We have to go and cry before the God, long for God day and night, all the moment. That is possible. Then Trailokya said, Sir, where is people's leisure? They must serve their English masters. Trailokya Narshanal. Then Sri Ramakrishna immediately, he is telling, well, then give God the power of attorney. If we cannot pray to God because we don't have the time, then give the power of attorney to God Himself. God, you have kept me in this world in this way. I can't find the time to call on you, but please don't forget me. Whatever I am doing, you are responsible for that. So guide me in that way. So you give that responsibility to God and God will guide you. God will take the responsibility. But you must all the time remember, and you are not there. Your ego should not be there, because you have given the attorney, power of attorney, to God. There will be nothing for you to take the decision. Oh, I am telling this, you must do it. No, you can't. So that is the power of attorney. So when we say that we don't have the time to pray to God and we depend on God to do on our behalf, that is also the process is there. But thing is, you should be completely aloof. Whatever is happening, no reaction should be there. Is it possible? That means you forget yourself. That means you are completely free from your ego. That is a very high spiritual position. And that is the reason. Then the sub just said, Sir, we are householders. How long should we perform our worldly duties? See how Sri Ramakrishna, their questions are so practical. Very practical questions. First is, our minds are very weak. So obviously we are constantly thinking, is it possible for us to realize God because we are impure? What is the impurity? The more you think that you are impure for everything, the more you become impure, because you are going on brooding on the impurity. The more you think that I am pure because God has made me, I am the son of God, I am the daughter of God, how can I be sinner? I have done some mistakes. And I take the oath that in the next day I am not going to repeat that. That's all. By that way, what is sadhana? What is spiritual practice? Nothing but going on taking the oath that I am going to change myself. I am going to change myself. That's all. That is the way we continue. Now the sub-judge, he is asking a wonderful question. You know, the householders in a traditional Hindu family, they say you have 5 responsibilities. What are the 5 responsibilities? And I think the last Sunday we discussed about that. Panchama yajna, they say in the Hindus, they say Pancha Mahayajna. What is a Mahayajna? The great sacrifice that you should have to do. The first is that you should not forget God, because the God has created you, God is helping you to sustain, and ultimately you will march to God. So you should not forget that. So Rishi Yajna. So Rishi Yajna, Nri Yajna, Deva Yajna, Bhuta Yajna, like this, Yajna, Yajna, 5 duties a worldly person should do, householder should do. The man who is living in the world, these are his spiritual duties. He must read at least some pages of the scripture. From the scripture, he must read every day. Why? Because the rishis, they discovered those truths. And if you are not reading that, you will forget. And this is the reminder again and again that you are not an ordinary person. You are pure. But this moment, you are surrounded by something, you have to overcome that. That is called Rishi Yajna. Nri Yajna, you must love your neighbors. You must love the people with whom you are living. You must feel for them, you try to help them, concern for them. So this is the way you are broadening your own mind and thought. The Nri Yajna. Pitri Yajna, we must remember our forefathers. For them only we are today. So that tradition should be there to remember them. Maybe the father and the grandfather sometimes we remember. Up to that is okay. Or at least just imagine that in that family that I have born and we have born, so we must remember and thank them. And because of them, we grew up in this way. This is the way we should express our gratitude. Yajna means expression of the gratitudes. Also, the Prani Yajna, that is also there. All animals and the reptiles and the birds, we should not forget them. They are also part of our family, part of our life. So the loving the nature, thinking about the nature, protecting the nature, that is also yajna. You know, sometimes we carry the plastic bags and so many plastic items, and then after use we just throw it. We don't care what is going to happen. Maybe that I was carrying something into that, and when I throw that plastic bag, the smell of the thing that was there inside attract a puppy, and it was nearby, it comes and entered into that plastic bag, and unfortunately it cannot come out. Don't you think that you are committing sin? So this is the sin. And we think, no, I didn't do anything, I didn't harm anybody, I didn't kill anyone. It's a wrong conception. So one must be very much alert. These are the duties of the grihasthas, of the householders. Always alert. I am not going to hurt anyone, anything, through my behavior, through my words and my activities. So this is slowly making you purified. What is the purification? You are constantly feeling for the others, and one day your guru will say, all that you see is nothing but the manifestation of the same God, the God you are worshipping inside the shrine. the God you are worshipping within your heart. That's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, can't you see God with your open eyes? If you can see God by closing your eyes in meditation, why can't you see God all around you? This is a wonderful revelation. The moment we can do that, the moment we are alert every moment of our life, that is called Jivan Mukta. That is the ultimate, the highest form of all spiritual practices. Jivan Mukta, free while living. How? I see my God in everything, in every being. So these are the karmas. How long shall I have to perform? That was the question. And the master said, surely you have duties to perform. You must bring up your children, support your wife, and provide for her in case of your death. Everything one should think. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna himself, he asked Ma Sharadamani Devi, how many chapatis, how many rotis you take in the night? Mother was so ashamed. Why he is asking this question? The ladies naturally. Then the mother told, why you are asking this question? No, after me, how you will survive? I have to calculate that and keep some provision for you. So that is called, because he married and he was so responsible for the wife. So this is called dharma. When I marry, a man is taking the oath that I will protect you as my wife. And wife is also taking the oath on that day that I will also cooperate with you in every action. So that is called marriage. And the man should not forget. So that dharma. So he is protecting. Sri Ramakrishna is teaching that dharma. You should, you must keep your word. If you don't, then I shall call you unkind. Look at it. I read again. Surely you have duties to perform. You must bring up your children, support your wife, and provide for her in case of your death. If you don't, then I shall call you unkind. Sages like Shukadeva had compassion. He who has no compassion is no man. Now the duties of the householder is to take care the responsibilities of his family. Then of course the society is there. You have to take care of the society too, paying the taxes. Some people are so clever, they will earn and they will try to deceive the government by not paying the taxes. They think that they are very clever, but ultimately they are committing sin. That's a great mistake. You should have to, because you have accepted. Of course, government also should take care that the people, when they are paying the taxes, that should go back to the society through development work. That is, of course, those who are in the administration side, it is their responsibility, king's duty, ruler's duty. But the subject, he is supposed to pay. One should not hide, one should pay. If you can't, there are other methods are also there. So obviously, religious development means a complete development. And when that complete development comes, a person, a human, become godly, very pure. Why? No impurity, no hiding, no hiding anything from anyone. So that is that we can have the complete trust on him. That is what Sri Ramakrishna is telling. How long should one support one's children? Before we conclude this small part of the question that the subject asked, how long should we perform our worldly duties, I like to quote from the Ashtavakra Samhita. The Ashtavakra, there the Ashtavakra Muni, he is telling to his disciple Raja Janaka, Pravrittova nivrittova naiva dhirasya durgraha yada yat kartum ayati tat kritva tishtata sukham. Now the people in the worldly life, they have their duties. But those who have accepted the monastic life, the spiritual life, not entered into the householder's life, do they have some duties or not? Of course they have. And how they should perform that? And here the Ashtavakra means very highest form of the spiritual activities. In that highest form, the Ashtavakra teaches activity or inactivity, action or inaction, not surely problem for the wise people. Naiva dhirasya durgraha. Wise people don't feel any problem, don't see any problem in activity or inactivity. When there is work, they will be completely, whole mind they will work into that. When there is no work, they will be meditating, they will be reading, they will be talking with the people, and their mind is constantly on the higher level of spirituality. And they won't go for seeking the work. And the next line it says, Yada yat kartum ayati. Yada, when, yat, what, kartum, to do, ayati, the responsibility that comes, tat kritva, doing that, tishtata sukham. You live happily. So that is for the people, the monastic life that they have accepted, and for them, whatever comes, that one of our very senior Swami, I liked him very much, Swami Ananyanandaji, who was the president of the Advaita Ashram when I was there, the many times he used to say, don't seek, don't shun. You know that the monastery, we have the different type of duties, and the in charge will say, now you please go and look after this particular work. Sometimes the kitchen you have to look after, and you have to go and purchase the provisions, you have to work with the cook, and you have to supply the food to the members who are there. So that is the job he should do, that is his work. And when that authority is asking you to take up that work, no, I never did that, I don't know how to do. So there will be some, so then the Anandandaji used to say, don't seek, don't shun. Whatever comes before you, that is your duty, and try to perform as best as possible. So that is the way the monastic members should also think. And if you are not doing anything, but using the monasteries, the property, the food you are taking, that shelter that you are taking, and you are also having the clothing, everything of your life, as long as you are living, you are taking from that monastery. In exchange, what you are giving? Nothing. That means you are indebting yourself into that. We don't understand that. We think we are very clever. We are not doing anything, and we are getting all the support from this organization. Nothing goes unnoticed. Everything is calculated by the Supreme God. So that is, one should be very, very careful. How long should we do that? Then question comes, when the mind is completely merged in God, you cannot think except God all the time, every moment. That is a completely different condition. And that is why this Yoga Vasishta, in the Rama and his Guru, then the Bhagavata, and also the Mundaka Upanishad. All these three great scriptures, they have quoted these words. When that condition comes, then no question of work. Vidyate hridaya granthi, chiddante sarva samsayaha, shiyante chasya karmani, tasmin drishte para abare. Tasmin drishte para abare. When one has realized that Brahman and all doubts are vanished, then there is no question of doing any work, and completely free. If you do or not do, nothing happens. Your presence, after the realization of the God, after the realization of the Brahman, the presence of that particular person is sufficient for the human society. His thoughts, his words, his presence inspire the other people, develop faith in the existence of God. That is sufficient. Or before, one should do something or other, whatever the responsibility, one should perform as maximum as possible. And then afterwards, when the work is done, one should say, Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. We, the followers of Sri Ramakrishna, we offer all our action at the feet of the Sri Ramakrishna. So the person who was asking this question, how long? So long when you feel that you have some duties to perform, you must perform. I have seen in Belur Math, the elderly Swamis, they would come and sit with us and help us to dress the vegetables. And sometimes they will pick up, when they are moving slowly, they will pick up some trashes, maybe a piece of cloth or a paper or a dry leaf. They will pick it up and put in the proper place. So why? Because everything should be neat and clean. Everything should be proper. When the devotees are coming to the temple, to the shrine, to the ashrama, they should feel that they have come to a holy place. When the people are coming and talking to them, very nicely, courteously, gently, one should behave. So these are the monastic training. And in the householder's life, one must have the responsibility for the family, responsibility for the society, and then finally he is responsible for his own spiritual growth. So this is the work together we should do, and then slowly time will come. We need not to ask anyone. By the grace of God, if that blessed day come, you will never feel any responsibility for anything. So that Sri Ramakrishna is telling. Sub-judge again is asking, how long should one support one's children? So he is naturally, his question is very good questions. How long one should work to support the family, and how long one should support the children? Then Sri Ramakrishna, as long as they have not reached their majority. When the chick becomes a full-grown bird and can look after itself, then the mother bird picks it and doesn't allow it to come near her. Everybody is laughing. Sri Ramakrishna's observation. He saw how the birds, they are behaving. Mother bird, they will teach them how to fly. They will push them. They know that they are already, the wings have become strong and it will be sufficient to support them. So the mother bird will push them, and then they will automatically open up their wings and they will float, and then they will get the joy. That is the way all treatment, and the human society also, the same thing one should do. no one should develop the children in such a way that ultimately they depend on their parents. No. Why? As a human, he should have his own self-respect, his or her own self-respect. I must earn and I should support myself. Father has supported me up to this. Now I should fly. I should learn to get my food. But the human society, the parental properties and all those things come down. It should not be, I feel. It should not be like that. Rather, after supporting the children, whatever the wealth the gentleman should have should go back to the society. He should donate it back to the society for their own development. As the Swami Vivekananda's father, Vishwanath Datta, the Swamiji, the young boy, he went to his father. His father was a great donor. He used to donate a lot. So the Swamiji went, maybe that his mother asked him to go and ask that question. You are donating all things, what you are leaving for us? His father, he was a great successful advocate. He took him before a mirror and asked him to stand before the mirror and say, whom you see? To myself. I am leaving you. I have given you the education. Now you should help yourself. Why you should depend on my property, my money? So that is the great teaching. Because whatever the wealth is accumulated, it should go back to the society. So then another individual should grow in his own way. But otherwise, the imbalances come in the economy, in the society. So that is the teaching. The spiritual teaching means a complete growth of not only an individual, but the whole human society. So Sri Ramakrishna is telling that you must support up to that. What is a householder's duty to his wife? The sub-judge, he wants to get all this thing clear. Then Sri Ramakrishna, you should give her spiritual advice and support her during your lifetime and provide for her livelihood after your death if she is a chaste wife. Support her and give her the spiritual advices. Why? Nowadays, of course, the scenario is little changed. In those days, the ladies were not that way educated, but even then, in the society, if we see, when son has grown up, then the parents, naturally they will ask the son to marry and settle. Suppose the son has married, then the conflict comes always, the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law. Why? Because mother-in-law, as she is living in that household, can't give up the responsibilities. But if the gentleman who has kept some provision for his wife and say, don't depend on my son's earning, we'll be there with them, but little separate, little distance, and don't ever unnecessarily, if they are not asking or requesting, entered into their family. Isn't it a good thing? So that is, it solves so many problems. And that is spirituality. That is religion. That is what Sri Ramakrishna is teaching. And it is the responsibility of the husband to teach his wife. Because the lady, she was slowly accumulating all those things, decorating the house, and obviously, and the mostly very sensible, it is very difficult for them to detach from all the things she loved all through. Now this is the training that the husband should give. In those days, husbands used to be minimum 10 years older than the wife. So because of the age and because of the education, because of the social thing, they had that capacity and they used to do that. It is the responsibility of the husband to make the wife from the beginning slowly to understand that one day we have to leave and never ever interfere. So that is the beautiful training, spiritual training. After the retirement, we too will be separate. And we will live over there. Children are all around. They will be coming and supporting us. But we are not depending on them. And what we should do? Now we will slowly withdraw our mind, and our attachment should not be so much, because every day, every moment we should think, I have to go somewhere else. I have to cross this ocean. I have to go back to God. My duties are over. It's not something, this is melancholy, no, not like that. Completely different. There's a great joy going back to my own source. And I am preparing myself. All the game that I used to play, now it is all over. I can't play now. We used to love the soccer. We used to love so many different games. Now it is all over. I should withdraw my mind. And how to? By hearing, reading, meditating, chanting, repetition of the God's name, by having the company of the holy people, and in the retreats, in a secluded place, I should go on developing that. Because now this is when I was born, the parents gave me education. Then when I grew up, I entered into the universities and colleges, universities and all that, and the professional level where I will be successful. I knew that these are the things I should do, and I got successful. I applied, got the job. There also I earned money, all I did. And now, back calculation. After reaching over there, enough. Now I am going back to the source from where I came. It's not the mother and the father, it is the God. I came from God, I should go back to God. And that is the circle complete in spiritual life. The complete circle is that, and Sri Ramakrishna is telling, you must love your children, love your family, do your duties. But at the same time, is Sri Ramakrishna, hold on to God with one hand. Then he is telling, you should give her spiritual advice and support. But if you are intoxicated with the knowledge of God, then you have no more duties to perform. As I quoted from the Upanishad, Vidyate hridaya granthi chiddate sarva samsaya. No doubt will be there. So, am I not having some duties to my mother, to my father? Of course I am having that duty. I will pray for them. I will support them from distance. But my main support is this. Intoxicated, that means the whole mind is constantly going towards God. Then you have no more duties. Then God Himself will think about your morrow if you yourself cannot do so. The God will think about. And we have seen there are some other monks, one of our friends who joined along with us in the monastic order. He is now a very famous Swami. He was the only son, and his father passed away. And within 1 year after the passing away, he wanted to come and join. Think about the mother. She lost the husband, and now the son is going away. What she will do? She came and talked to the President Maharaj and told, then how can I leave, Maharaj? How can I survive? Maharaj asked that boy, you better go back. Live with your mother. And you do not to worry. If this thought of the renunciation still remain in your mind, in whatever age you can come and join. That was a special permission. But the young man, he went back with the mother, but his mind was full with this idea that he should be a monk and monk and monk. His mother, after some months, she understood. In the meantime, she also understood that she has to live all alone. And then one day she said, let us go to Belur Math and pack your things, you can go and stay. Herself came and gave her son to the President Maharaj and told, take him and make him a very good monk. So these are the stories. Sri Ramakrishna, the God, is giving the help, and the mother could understand. Mother could feel that way, and detachment comes in the mind of the mother. And all other problems for her survival, everything was taken care. The relatives came and the friends came, they took care of that. And slowly, she also started frequenting more, frequenting that the Belur Math, and also started meditating, repetition. So that way, the whole family. So this is Sri Ramakrishna when he says that God will take care. That is true. God himself will think about your family if you are intoxicated with him. Truly, if one sacrificing for the God, God takes the responsibility of the father and the mother. We have seen so many cases. If a landlord dies leaving behind a minor son, then a guardian appointed by the court takes charge of the son. These all are points of law. You know them. He was talking with the lawyer, the sub-judge. So he told, suppose the father has passed away, then the court will take the property and his minor son and will be guided till he is reaching to that age. Similarly, God will take care. That is called faith. God is there. God will look after me. And sometimes we face the problems, then we lose the faith in God. No. When we are having the problems, we have to go back to God much more intently. Pray to Him. Father, Mother, what shall I do now? Please guide me, please guide me. Guidance will come, help will come. Everything will be settled again, once again, and much better way than I was expecting. Then the sub-judge said, yes, sir. Bijay, priceless words. God himself carries on his shoulders all the responsibilities of a person who thinks of him with single-minded devotion and is mad with divine love. A minor gets his guardian without seeking him. Alas, when shall I have that state of mind? How lucky they are who feel that way. This Vijay Krishna Goswami, he was a great lover of God, and slowly he was a man of devotion. But then he joined the another organization, Brahma Samaj, and a little deviation came. In the company of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he came back to his own, the source, own root. Now in devotion, that is coming. Friends, we will read these wonderful passages and in the next Wednesday again. So let us conclude, and if there is a question, yes.
So there is one question on Srima Biswas. Srima Biswas is asking, who will look after old parents?
Old parents.
Who will look after old parents?
If the children are still there in the household, they are supposed to take care of the old parents. But if the children has become a monk, then, as I was mentioning, in a very divine way, they are protected. Some other people, they come, they help them. And now, of course, Belur Math, they have taken the the project, that if the parents of a monk is there and unattended, Ramakrishna Mission, Belur Math, they bring them and we have a home and we keep them over there. So is it not again the God's way to protect them? The same way it will take. So thank you for giving your time, and once again we will offer our pranam to God and we will conclude for this Wednesday. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vigraham vai Ishavataram parameshamidhyam tam Ramakrishnam shirasa namamaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.